Hi everyone, Hal Crosman here with Screenwriting U.
All right, now let's talk interest. So, and actually, I'm going to talk two things. I'm going to talk subtext and interest. So, first, again, here's our subtext. Roberts loves creating gossip about other people and watching it take them down. Trent pretends he's wealthy to get people to do things at their expense. Um, you know, and this is one of the places where I do think there could have been something done at the very beginning that would make a big difference. And I think that would have been having Robert, instead of just showing up here, sitting on a chair and that kind of thing, since this is a party, what if it started with Robert kind of milling around the room, telling different people gossip, and we got a chance to see him doing that thing he does. And then when Trent, calls everybody to attention, then Robert comes over and sits down next to Amber. And that way it could have started with the thing that later is going to be exposed, and we could have seen Robert in action on that. Um, let's see. The other thing that's pretty interesting about this is, well, here, let's go to the interest techniques. These were the techniques that you were asked to use: suspense, major twist, surprise, more interesting setting, mislead, reveal, character changes radically, betrayal, superior position, dramatic irony, uncertainty, hope, fear, and intrigue. Now, one of the things I liked was K. Ray did do a good job of using a lot of these techniques, and you'll see them as we go through here. And they're used to different kinds of degrees. But the first one is the setting. And he chose a setting that was unique and that fit who Trent is and what Trent is about. And right off the bat, Trent is using that setting to promote himself, and the setting is part of the scam he's running, and it's also part of his neediness. Two-thirds the way down, when Robert starts explaining the whole thing, then we find out that the setting is actually part of a scam. And so it has some kind of impact. It comes back on him there. So he used the setting, and he used it in a way that actually created some subtext. I really like that. Let's go back up here. There's a couple other things. And I'll just kind of run through this. In the beginning, there's all these wonderful things being said about Rob and Amber and everything else, and this gives us hope. And since it's Trent saying them about Robert, and since it's all started with Robert, most of our hope, fear things are going to work having to do with Robert. So it starts out with hope there, and then we go down a little further, and let's see. Dun, 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 and here it is right here. I recently learned that my brother had sex with my girlfriend last night. Now, there's a whole series of things that happen in this one line. The moment it becomes clear, and it becomes clear both there and then, in this whole section where he tells the whole story, the moment it becomes clear, a bunch of things have happened. Number one, we have a twist, right? Something has changed here. Number two, it's a surprise. Oh my God, he slept with them, and it's a surprise not just to everybody else, but also to Robert. Number three, this character Trent has just changed radically. He was saying all these nice, wonderful things, and he suddenly is doing a different thing. And then number four, what we found was that everything pretty much above this line was a mislead, and that this is the reveal. That when he says my brother slept with my girlfriend last night, that's the reveal of what's going on here. So a whole bunch of things happen pretty much at once there. Now, a lot of people would just stop at that and say, wow, that was really good, let's just play that. But what I like is that K. Ray didn't do that. He kept going. So, by the way, at this point, soon as this whole story is told, for the first time, we're feeling a little bit of fear for Robert, because Trent he's doing this publicly. Something is going on here. And the truth is that's the other thing that's going on with this is, as Trent is telling us this story, and since he's doing it publicly, and since he's done it in this way, there's a little bit of intrigue, as that something underhanded is going on here. Either something underhanded is going on with Robert, or what Trent is doing is underhanded. One of the two. Also, and let's get really clear on this. Also, there's a betrayal, and it's in two areas. So, and part of what the rest of the scene is about is now trying to figure out who betrayed who. Did Robert betray Trent by sleeping with his girlfriend, or is Trent betraying Robert by destroying his wedding and all that kind of thing? Or both, right? So there is some kind of betrayal going on. Anyway, and that adds to the interest. All right, so Robert stands up and starts fighting back. And at this point, now we're going to feel a little bit of hope. So we've gone hope, fear, hope. So this is the whole uncertainty thing that's going on. Robert is fighting back, and as he does so, at least we feel some kind of hope. Also, of course, we're experiencing Robert's subtext here as he starts to circulate some rumors and that kind of thing. And he continues for a little bit until Trent says, "Of course, you never believe the rumors, Rob. After all, you started them." So once again, now we've gone from hope to fear, so we're in that now. What I like about what he did here, besides all the other things that I said earlier about the dialogue and how he's now luring the audience into going against, I'm talking about Trent luring the audience into going against Robert. What I also liked is that he's building evidence. He's stacking evidence. We have one piece of evidence stacked on top of another piece of evidence, stacked on top of another piece of evidence. So it's not just that he slept with his girlfriend. It's that look who he is and all these other kinds of things. So that's very well done. And it increases the conflict, and it increases the conflict finally enough that Robert decides he's going to fight. He's going to come and fight back and get in his face. And this is a little bit of a twist. It also now begins to build hope again. It's like, okay, Robert's telling us this story, and maybe there's a chance. And then the what? Suddenly out of your fancy words, and then he gives this whole long thing, which builds hope that okay, it's going to be okay for Robert and his girlfriend and all of that kind of thing, or his wife to be. And then comes this line, which I really think is one of the best lines in the movie. Brother, my brother, when is it going to end? This points to the subtext of Robert, that he likes to create rumors about people, create gossip about people, and it's saying that everything before that was a gossip. So once again, we're concerned. This is kind of a subtext twist, because the moment that it happens, suddenly everyone's looking at Robert accusingly. So it's important. There's been a change that has gone on. Robert admits it, which is kind of interesting. And at this moment, you know what? We're now back in fear again for Robert. We're worried about him. And so, okay. So then we go down just a little further, and let's see. Robert challenges Trent to produce this girlfriend. Trent says, "I would rather not." So for just a moment, we're feeling hope again. And the other thing I like about this is it adds some suspense. There's something going on here. Robert is challenging him there. "I'd rather not," which means, oh, maybe there isn't. And so we're wondering, we're worried, we don't believe it, we do believe it, we don't know. Okay. And at that moment, then we hear the sleepy French female voice. And this is a twist. And not only is it a twist, but we're going to find out later on that it also brings another level of subtext. But the moment we hear that, there's fear again. And there's fear that, uh-oh, Trent does have a girlfriend, and it is possibly this person, and now we're going to find out exactly. And of course, Trent's girlfriend walks out and says the one thing, you know, it's not very nice to take advantage while I'm stuck in the tub. And at that moment, it's like, oh my God, now the entire audience believes it. They step in, they're going to beat the hell out of Robert. So this part actually, there was a twist. There was also a whole new layer that has been uncovered, and on top of that, we now are feeling fear for Robert once again. And it's an excellent payoff. So, and then of course, then it turns into Daniel, which means a character just changed radically, and this is the point where now that layer is revealed and the subtext is now uncovered. Now, so this was really well done. I'm going to say one other thing I think needs to be improved here. It feels like it's a very powerful scene. A lot of stuff has happened, and now we're going to get to the end, and there's just this kind of light. We're off, and I think this is really a place that something could be said that's really powerful. So one of two things I would suggest: either just take this all out, and as in this last set of dialogue, end it with Danielle saying, damn things pinch my skin, and then just hearing the beating in the background. Not, though not as much as that, I dare say, and end it with that. Trent and Daniel share a smile, and they exit the room. Or end it with some kind of line or something that takes this to a whole new level. Maybe Trent saying, not my fault if his enemies beat him to death, or something like that. So it's like, and I'm not saying that's the line, that's a pretty on the nose line, but still, what it does is it takes it to this whole new level where all of a sudden we realize Trent actually has designed this whole thing to have his brother murdered or something like that. So that way it's got a cliffhanger at the end. It's much more powerful, and it delivers. Let's see. Overall, what I would say is K-Ray did an excellent job of using these techniques. I mean, my goodness, he used almost every single one of them. I thought that was really well done. He did an excellent job of using the subtext along the way. If I was going to say anything else for improvement, I would say that really this thing needs to be thinned out a bit. If looking right here, you'll see it's about 6 pages. Actually, I can't highlight that. So it went into 6 pages. I would say that this thing needs to be cut down to 4 pages, something like that. And if we've got a lot of long passages of dialogue, if those were shortened, if the rest of this was cut down, if it was brought down to only the very precise stuff that has an impact, I think this would be an extremely powerful scene. It's very, very well written. And in general, for the speed at which it was done, I think K-Ray did an excellent job. Now, for everyone else here, my purpose here is to present this so that you've got something to look at, so you can see all of these different techniques. So when you do your rewrite, which is the next thing on the horizon here, when you do your rewrite, I want you to go back and do everything you can to use as many of the interest techniques, to make sure that the subtext is clearly showing up, and to do everything you can to get these traits into the dialogue and into their actions. And if you get confused along the way, come back and watch this video again. But basically what all this is about is just giving you a chance to practice and practice and keep trying to elevate and keep focusing on how it's done really powerfully, until it's just a normal part of your writing behavior. And I promise you, if you continue to do this all the way through for the next 5-6 months, your writing will triple or quadruple in quality, and soon it'll be where every scene you write is better than most people's entire screenplays.